Hey guys, you're watching Desimartini and my name is Zinia. Today we have not one but four very special guests with us. We are talking about the cast of Gehraiyaan. We have Deepika Padukone, we have Siddhant Chaturvedi, we have Ananya Panday, and we have Karwa. Hi guys, welcome to Desimartini.
All of us. Pinch myself.
And congratulations that Gehraiyaan released and it has received so much love from the audience.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I watched the film last night. I loved it. I mean, Shakun Batra is the man who brings out complexities in relationship in characters so beautifully. So of course, this had to be special. But it's also a very, very intense film. So I would like to ask all of you, which was the most difficult scene for you guys to shoot, like personally? We'll start with Deepika.
The whole film? Okay. If I had to choose one, it would be... What about people who haven't seen the film?
Yeah, actually, how do we say without giving a spoiler?
Dustbin show?
So we will be releasing this video a little later, like next week. So next weekend maybe. So
Let's just say maybe there'll be spoilers ahead. So like if you haven't watched it, go watch it and come back.
Okay, let me put it this. Let's try and say it without
Giving
saying
away
much.
as much,
Okay.
yeah.
It would be, for me, it would be my scene in the car.
okay.
So weak.
Huh?
No,
Oh,
I'm saying
yeah,
so
yeah,
precise,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm saying
yeah,
so weak.
yeah.
In the car, because the conversation, how do I say this? Because my character really has nothing to say at that point. So much has happened, but I really have nothing to say, and at the same time, the other person has so much to say. And so just to be present and just to react from nothing, I wasn't sure what I was going to do or how I was going to go about it. You know, usually there are crutches. There's, you either have a space or you have dialogues or you have an activity to do. You have something to do. But in that moment, I really have nothing to do. I'm just there and I'm stuck. And I have just this person saying all of these things to me. So I think how I'm going to react to that was for me the most difficult scene.
Okay. P6 के parking में काफी कुछ हुआ था, if I can add.
P6 के parking में काफी
हाँ,
कुछ
बहुत
हुआ था.
कुछ हुआ था.
Yes.
बहुत काफी कुछ हुआ है.
And Siddhant, for you, what was the most difficult scene to shoot?
I think sorry, even I'm having a bad, so I'm having...
Same pinch.
Yeah,
Yes.
can't say.
Oh, sorry.
For me, I think all the fight scenes with, I think, both of them.
How come you all never fought?
They should
Actually,
have
we
fought.
should have
No,
fought.
they should have fought.
Like primal.
I would actually
Usually that's what happens, right? You're like,
I would like to see a fight between Zain and Karan. I wonder how it would be.
let's instigate a fight between Sid and Dhairya.
That's not gonna happen.
You know what he said about you that day?
Bro. Before.
The cameras are on, that's fine.
It's like I'm sitting here, I'll just shout, fight, 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 fight.
I think it's the fight scenes with Ananya and Deepika. They were quite intense and yeah, I mean, pretty tough to kind of defend or something which maybe lie or whatever. All those scenes were really tough.
Okay. Okay. And Ananya, for you?
Mine were, it was one of the most challenging scenes, I would say, on paper. But I think once I was present in the moment and just reacting to Deepika, it was extremely helpful. I can't say more than that, but I think just the emotional baggage, I think, and the weight of what that scene means and carries was pretty challenging.
Right.
The
And
maturity, I think, with which Tia had to conduct herself in
yes.
those moments was hard.
Okay. And Dhairya, for you?
I'd like to tweak your question a bit. I will say a scene that I was very excited to perform,
Okay.
where Karan and Alicia meet after a long time, and there's been a lot that's happened between them, and there's a history. And there's a lot that Karan wants to convey, but the settings are such, and there's very little dialogue on paper, but a lot of silences and just talking through your eyes and just gazes, and that's something that excites me as a performer as well, where just silences speak so much.
So scared.
So I really and I mean that moment also quite lived up to how I thought in my head, so I quite enjoyed performing that scene.
Wow. You know, the friendship that you guys shared, the equation that you guys shared, it's so playful, so nice. And then when like all of us as audience, I saw the film, I was like, it's so intense. And then you guys share this
That's
equation.
actually been the most difficult for
Yeah,
us.
true.
That's the most difficult. The way he is in real life versus what he had to portray. The way her beliefs in life and what she had to portray. He's probably the only person who's kind of the closest to his character.
Okay.
Whereas, and the least conflicted.
Yeah.
Whereas for the three of us, I think in a lot of ways we're very different from our characters, don't entirely believe personally a lot of the actions or choices, but then to do that convincingly, because I mean that's our job at the end of the day.
But I think the friendship really lent itself into the scenes as well, because there was just comfort, we could, there were just a lot of, as Dhairya said, those unspoken moments. There was just understanding. There was a lot of space that was given to one another, because we knew what the other person needed at a certain point. So it helped.
Okay. And, it also translated very beautifully. The scenes that four of you have together, those translated very beautifully in the beginning, of course, not when even I have to now keep the spoilers in check, so it's very difficult. Oh my God, how are you guys doing this without giving out the spoilers?
I don't know. We're trying,
Experience.
and we really do want people to watch the film and experience it, because I think even though I'm a part of this film, when I watched it, I was like, what, when, how? Even I was so taken away. So I think it's best if we just let people experience it the way.
Also, we were in a similar situation when pre-film release, because there's only that much we could say.
Yeah.
And a lot of journalists would keep prodding and saying, but y'all said this line in the trailer, what does it mean? So how do you explain that without giving away the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and most of the questions that I prepared were actually for like a post-release thing. So I would ask about the little things that happened that went beyond. So I don't know how you guys are going to answer them, but we'll try. So yes, Ananya, like you said, Ananya, you are also a very young person, and the character that you portray and the layers that Tia has, they are a lot. So how did you get into that zone? How did you get into the psyche of Tia?
It was definitely not easy because, as Deepika also said, even though I have some similarities between Tia, a lot of my beliefs are not the same. The way Ananya would react in those situations are very, very different from how Tia reacts in those situations. So I think I had to not judge her. I think I had to, even though I wanted to borrow stuff from myself, I still had to leave Ananya behind, especially with things in terms of like my voice also, and also in terms of the way I speak, the pattern in which I speak. I had to be very mindful of things like that. I had to bring a sense of maturity, I felt, to the character, because she is older than I am, and everything is on a much larger scale. There's a lot more at risk in the situation that she's in. And I had to, there was just a lot of observation from when I was younger, relationships I'd observed, stories I'd heard of people and what they've been through, just conversations with Shakun about how he sees Tia and what he would like, how he would like her to be portrayed. And I think just kind of also feeling things that I felt in the past, but just going much deeper into them, and just putting myself as honestly as I could in Tia's shoes, and just being present in the moment, and just playing off of the three of them.
Wow. Also, this film, because of its intensity, it must have been like the complexities of the character. When you portray something so deep, then it also gets to you. So, was there any moment where you took time to really get out of the characters that you were playing, get back to your real selves?
I don't think any of us have gotten out of
Yeah, I
it
was
yet.
just gonna say that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He's so on another set.
I think
Oh, I got it.
I think that characters never really leave your system entirely. Sure, you move on in life, you move on to other characters, you move on to different experiences, but most often, and especially when you play these sort of characters where you've internalized them a lot, given so much of yourself to a character and to a performance, then these don't leave your system really. And sometimes I feel like even 10-15 years later, if you were to pull out a scene and perform it, I think it would happen pretty organically. So I don't think we've come out of it yet. And I don't think you'll ever entirely come out of it. At least I don't.
I think every film kind of changes you a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only done this, only my fourth film, but whatever I've seen so far, even with the other actors I observe, you definitely change. You go through the journey with the character, and I think you come out a different person.
You certainly put a little bit of yourself in every character that you play, but you also draw so much from those characters that you've played. And you that's what you carry forward eventually.
Okay, since we are running short of time, I'll ask the last question. Just one scene which you guys had shot, like you said, Ananya, that when you saw the film, it turned out to be something else and you felt another kind of connect with the film. So any particular sequence that when you shot, it felt like it's good, it's nice, but when you saw it, in the film, it turned out to be completely on another level?
For me, it was a lot of their scenes together, because I had not seen any of it, and I'm also not someone who checks the monitor a lot in that way. I don't think any of us did with Shakun, especially. We didn't even know where the monitor was on this film, honestly. But a lot of the scenes that they had, I was a little hurt because I still feel like Tia sometimes, but I was also blown away with just the unabashedness and how honest they were in some moments.
Are you talking about our own scenes, or you're talking
Could
about
be
any
any.
scene in the film that
Yes.
Okay. Oh God.
D.
I'll say. So I think there are quite a few scenes, and especially those scenes where there's a lot of drama in terms of high-pitched conversations or confrontations and stuff. Those really catch your eye immediately. And even when you're reading the script and you're thinking and when you're going to perform. But I feel again like my tendency is towards liking and noticing the subtle nuances of some things, some action that a character does. I really love a scene of Sid, a couple of them where things which just so organically happen as an actor, and I just really admire what he did. I mean, again,
the towel thing you had
the
mentioned.
towel one, that, and when he's stuttering in a scene, or he's not intentionally doing that, but yeah. So when you see something like that, I was like, wow.
Wow. Yeah, those observations were really good. I'll go back and see the film again today.
You must.
Yeah, no, there was some.
And there are quite a few. You see her maturity of just being there, and you just see that in her eyes of so much is going inside her head. And then her scene with Nasir sir. Oh man, I've seen it twice, and twice I found myself weeping after the scene. So
I can't think of one scene that stood out for me, but again, like Dhairya said, there are different moments for me for all three of them that I was like, wow, like I think she's phenomenal in that scene where she's
Eating
the
edamame.
edamame scene. Let's just call it the edamame scene.
I had quite a few edamames chucked at my face.
She's incredible in that. I mean, of course, it's really. I'm really picking now because you're saying one. I don't think the film would be as successful, and I don't think people would be reacting like this if it wasn't the collective of what everyone's done. But it's her entire journey. But if I really had to pick one, it would be that. With Dhairya, it would be the same scene that he spoke about,
The marketplace,
where
yeah.
the marketplace scene, where you're sort of, this person for so many years, but it's dead, but at the same time you have so much to say, but you don't say, and it's all in the eyes and it's all in the silences. And it was a crazy day. I remember it was really hot. There were lots of people, but when I saw the film, I really saw what he had done with it. And with Siddesh, I think a lot of his scenes with Jitesh, with Rajat sir, just to have that sort of confidence in how you run a business. Just yesterday, he and I were watching the film together, and there was this moment where so much is going on and he has so much to say, but he starts fumbling. And that just happens. That's cinematic magic. No matter how much you rehearse it, that it won't happen.
And it'll be difficult to recreate that
you
as
can't,
well.
you
And you
can't
can't
create
recreate
that.
it.
Yeah, you can't even create it. I think it comes from inside.
Also, if you notice again when you watch the film, there's this one moment of where he just accidentally drops a key.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people are going to notice that, but
Yes,
he's-
yes.
And then of course the spiral. I mean, all of those, even just something as simple as just him in the car. There's one shot of just him in the car processing, like, what am I going to do next? It's just one, that's it. But there's just so much going on. So
Wait, once again, I want to change my answer because I was very upar se, but I have specific answers for everyone. For me, for Siddesh, my favorite scene of his, my favorite parts of Zain are when you see strains of him that are triggered from his past, and it's really different from the Zain that you're used to seeing, and he does it so seamlessly, and it's almost, I was taken aback that and it's something that has to come purely from inside. It just comes from inside. It's not something that that can ever be manufactured in that way. It was very pure, and with Deepika, of course, I think just her eyes, just the way she's observing things. There are a lot of shots that I used to make fun of for Shakun, because we used to call it his brain shots, where he goes into the mind of the characters. He wants to be so close, but now I understand why, because you can just see everything that's happening in her eyes, and that's such a beautiful quality to have. And especially in a scene when you're playing off of her as an actor, it helps me so much that I just need to react to her eyes. And with Dhairya, we had a lot of fun scenes together, but when I saw the side he portrays to Alisha, you completely understand their relationship, and I think he did that so it's almost so casual that you forget how much effort goes into it.
I love this mutual admiration.
Yeah, we've never
club.
actually spoken
Yeah.
about it so openly, but sorry, Sid, now you can say.
For
he
me,
has nothing to say. He's just like, yeah.
सब कुछ तो बोल दिया. For me, I think the last 20 minutes of the film, I had not seen it. Because, so
For
what
obvious
happens?
reasons.
Yeah, what happens in the last 20 minutes? Because you go closer to her character, his character, and it's just I don't know, it just binds the whole story together somehow. And yeah, I mean, my favorite scene of Ananya is when Jitesh is talking to you and you just tell him to shut up. And that's one of my favorite scenes. And I can't speak much about it because it will be a spoiler. For Deepika, I think the scenes with Nasir sir, so real, so organic, like, so I don't know, like, just a delight to watch these two, play it out. Beautifully done. And I have goosebumps whenever, like, I think about that scene. All of their scenes. With Dhairya, I think the scene where when they have a fight, I think so. We all come, the first time I come to your house, when we leave, and he has, you can see it in his face that, oh shit, oops, I'll have to, and he's communicating three-way.
Side eyes.
Yeah, there's a three-way communication. One with me where he's like, oh, I'm sorry because you didn't have a good experience. This is the first time you came to my place. The one with Tia where he, they kind of have a bonding where he knows ki shit, I kind of messed up, screwed up. And one with, Alicia where he's trying to kind of calm her, control the situation.
Pacify her, yes.
After we leave, you could just see it on his face why he's just doing it like that, and he's just moving around in the room, and then they have a argument. So I think that's my favorite scene of his.
Wow. And I'm so glad you shared so much of insight with us, because the next time I see Gehraiyaan, I'll be seeing it in a very, very different light. Thank you so much, Deepika. Thank you so much, Siddhant, Siddesh. Thank you so much, Ananya. And thank you so much, Dhairya, for joining with Desimartini. It was an absolute delight talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your question, because we actually got to discuss
and think.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure is all ours. Thank you. Take care. Bye. Bye.